reviewing the Gunner 10 from Blackheart Knives. Let's talk about this on the onset of this video. Custom knives. They're often very expensive, and a lot of us aren't willing to pay that price for a custom knife that we can get something a little, well, in some cases a lot less expensive, that will achieve the same function. But what do you get with a custom knife? A custom knife is you get something that's kind of a one-of-a-kind. You don't find a lot of them out there. You get something that's really going to hold its value over time. And you get a knife that really takes on the character of the individual that made it. For those that are really interested in custom knives, stay tuned because I think you're really going to like this one. For those that say, hey, I'd rather buy a gun for that price, I totally get it. But stick around because it's just going to be some good old knife porn that you guys will enjoy anyway. This is just a beautifully crafted blade. Now you can see, obviously, I have been using this blade. This is not just a custom knife for me to sit on the shelf. That being said, that is certainly an option if you wanted to. I believe these knives are really good looking. You can see the handle scales. Overall, I think this knife is just really gorgeous. Love the overall lines of it, love the looks of it. But yes, I have been using it, and using it quite heavily. Had it out on several trips, and finally I thought, man, I'm going to do the review on this. Blade length on that is 4 3/4 inches, so just about exactly where I like it. I like anywhere between 4 inches to 6 inches, 5 inches being optimal. So to me, this is just about perfect on the length of the blade. The edge on it is a true 0-degree convex edge, and I'll tell you, over my use, repeated use on this, this thing works great and it retains an edge very well. All the wood that I've been processing out here today, I can tell it's still got a very good edge on it. That's kind of fun. So a lot of that comes from that the convex edge, so you're getting more meat behind that secondary edge, that cutting edge, and also that A2 tool still is really going to help maintain that edge. If you look at that tip, that is a very strong, healthy tip. So this thing, it will take a beating and keep on going. One thing about this Cerakote finish is if you're using the blade like I have been using, like you've seen in this video, that you will see in this video, you will see it will wear. That's just kind of the part of Cerakote. But to me, that kind of gives it a fun look. It just says, hey, I've been using the blade. You can see it's a nice drop point blade. Very functional out here in the bush. And there's some jimping up top, both on the blade and on the spine of the blade and on the top end of the handle here. And this jimping, it's a pretty good balance between being enough to dig in but not being so aggressive that you're just going, man, this jimping's cutting straight into my hand. Handles on this blade are awesome. I love the look of these handles. I love the pattern up top, how it changes to more of a diamond pattern down here, and you've got the finger groove so it really locks in. Of course, you got this front finger choil as well, so you can choke up on the blade, and that jimping here that you can put your fingers on as you choke up. I like finger choils quite a bit. I like to be able to get up and use this portion of the blade and really get in there and get some control over the work I'm doing. Likewise, back here, you've got that jimping up top that sits really well with the hand. Now this is a relatively thick handle, I guess, kind of a medium, and I have medium-sized hands, and I really like the way it just fills my hands. And one of my concerns, honestly, sometimes when you get these finger grooves that are cut out, they just don't fit your hands well. So, you know, depending on who you are, they may or may not. For me, I like the way my hands fit in there. Also, this works in a variety of different grips. The reverse grip, my pinky locks into this one right here, and then the jimping, there's more jimping right here on the butt of the knife. Just perfect for you kind of lock your thumb in too, so you can get that nice reverse grip. This is also could be used as a tactical blade, and you got your little hello thumper there on the end. That's gonna hurt if you use that as a striking object. Let's look at these handles a little more. My Micarta handles, these happen to have some red and black inlays on them that just really sets off the knife. Now, going to rich and Blackheart knives specifically, you can request a lot of different colors on the Cerakote on the blade. You will need that because it's A2 tool steel that is prone to rust. And then you can also request different colored inlays here, and then of course different color on the micarta. So there's a lot of options. So this one specifically, you can get in a whole bunch of different colors and just really personalize it to yourself. Also, I happened to be in Blade HQ one day, and I was buying, what was I buying? The Contago folder, I think. And I stopped and looked at some of the Blackheart knives in there also, specifically the Gunner 10. I wanted to kind of compare that Gunner 10 to the one I have in hand, just to look at the fit and finish and quality. Both were excellent. You can see with these handle scales that it meets up nicely with the tang of the knife. No sharp edges, nice rounded corners here. One thing I've done with this knife too is on that camping trip, I did a lot of carving on sticks just to get a good feel for the ergos on the blade, on the handles, and it works great. Didn't notice any hot spots at all, and in fact, it's kind of one of those things that you just lose yourself in the cutting task rather than trying to evaluate the knife. That's something that to me says, hey, whatever it is that you're specifically testing, if you stop thinking about it and start thinking about just what you're working on, that tells you it's pretty good stuff, because, well, you lose yourself in your work. Here's the sheath. You can see it's a Kydex sheath. You have a drainage hole at the bottom. It's got the tech lock in the back. Now, one of the downsides, I believe, to this knife, for backpacking specifically, is going to be its weight. Weight on this knife is going to be just a hair over 11 ounces. And being that it's kind of a big, hefty knife, I thought, boy, how's this sheath going to carry? And I'll tell you what, this thing carries like a dream. It really sucks it into your body. And this big hefty knife carries a lot better than a lot more lighter knives I have because of the sheath. So yes, fairly standard Kydex sheath, but it's a nice Kydex sheath, and it carries that knife excellent. Let's talk about a couple downsides. We've already hit on one of them, which is going to be weight. Weight is an interesting one because that can be a downside, but can also be an upside depending on what you're going to use the knife for. Long backpacking trip, honestly, I'm probably going to take something else that's a little lighter. But this thing is really going to be able to hold up to a lot of abuse because of that weight. It's just a good, thick, meaty knife that will just take whatever you throw at it. Other downside, depending on how you look at it, is going to be price. We talked about that already. This knife is going to come in around $400+. When you get into the custom knife realm, it's not that outrageous. So if that's something you're interested in and you're really serious about buying, that's something you're going to have to weigh out. But overall, guys, I really like the looks of this knife. Very gorgeous, and I like the functionality of it. That, to me, in a knife that I'm going to use, is most important. If it looks good, great, but if it doesn't work, then what's the point? I like to use my knives. But it's comfortable, it's got great ergos, it's a hefty knife, it's going to hold up to a lot. Definitely something to look at if you're into those custom knives. You're getting a beautifully handcrafted knife made in the USA, lifetime warranty, something that I think is really going to hold its value over time, and something that really takes on the character, personality of its maker, and you're just not going to see a lot of them out there. Again, if it's something you're into, definitely check these out. They are a fun knife. They are a beautiful knife. You get a lot of options on the Cerakote, on the handle scale colors, on the micarta, or excuse me, on the inserts. There's just so many things you can do. Check these out. Blackheart knives. This one specifically, the Gunner 10. A lot of other options out there. Beautiful, guys. Thanks much for watching. We'll see you later.